Hi all, welcome to this belated version of the pre-order packs for FIFA 18. I know it's about 5-6 weeks later than usual, but I just thought we'd get this up and show you roughly what this year's pre-order packs paid out for. And we've done obviously the 20 packs that you get for 15, like 2015k packs, and your 20 Loan Team of the Week packs. So if you can smash the links, be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at @GIsaLegend. All the links are down below for playlists on the channel and social media links as always. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, as well, if you did any of this at all, like any of the pre-order packs, if you had any success at all. So be aware that none of the commentary that you're hearing is live. So obviously week 1 is going to start off with Prime Ronaldo, the 96 version, which is a very nice looking card. Obviously you get it for 5 games, and I've still yet to use them, even with being like 20 weeks into FIFA. I'm sure sooner or later I will put them in. Sooner or later I will get them, but obviously time will tell. But you obviously then in your first week, you also, because of the version that I got, I also was able to get the loan version of Cristiano Ronaldo. And what was handy is as well, on top of the games that I'd already got accumulated on another loan version, when you combine them both, it's quite handy. It just kind of gives you enough extra games to work with. So as you can see, we've combined 2 Loan Ronaldos. It's quite a nice little trick, really. And then we move from there to our Loan Team of the Week pack. I don't ever expect anything decent. I know it will do boards, but that's because it will do boards for anyone. And then, like, for a first Team of the Week from a loan pack, it isn't exactly appealing, but it's still in form that just, when you look at it now, especially at this point of FIFA, you see it's a Loan Team of the Week that's handy for club value. If you're one of these players that just looks for club value, it's kind of handy. But for the first 15k pack to have 3 flares is quite decent. But at this point in FIFA, you see yourselves not exactly the most appealing starting cards to kind of help you out. But it's still stuff to work with and just put, not just in the club, but just to work with in general, because these are cards at this stage in FIFA, some will have a decent enough value to work with, but to get 3 flares again, it just shows right away early on, you see yourself, well, I'm getting rare players that could prove handy. And Esquerdo, decent enough EPL winger, especially at the start of FIFA. He's cheap and OP, and he slots in no problem. So on to week 2 now. Initially, the benchmark isn't that high, but we've got a board in our second week, which is quite impressive. Now, Argentina, and especially now at this point in FIFA, because Gaetan no longer plays at Atletico Madrid, he's in China, this card is very, very useful. And to get Dusan Basta as well, which is not bad. So in all honesty, that's a good benchmark for a 15k pack. But the rares seem to be quite consistent at the moment, which is quite encouraging. And Iago Falke, he's an alright looking card, but there's nothing major appealing about him. Mangala and Niang, but for me, and to get a coin boost as well, you can't really complain about. It's just a case of taking what you can. Obviously, staff and people like that, we're not too fussed about. These are cards that we can just quick sell later on. And then the Loan Team of the Week for our week 2, I'm not hoping for much, and you can kind of tell why when you see it. Like, initially for the Loan Team of the Week, my hope was whatever I packed, I would actually do a video on it. I would do like a player review, and it never really materialised, which is a bit of a bummer actually. But week 3 we're at another board, back-to-back boards, which is a very tasty sight. And to get 84 Edin Dzeko after week 3, in my opinion, the pre-order packs are actually paying out. Like last year, it took about 9 weeks, I think, for me to see any real difference. And I love how I've got Cedric, and he's stayed in the club like pretty much ever since, and that's been like 20-25 weeks of FIFA. But the rares just, these are consistent. Like, I see a lot of people when they were doing these 15k packs were absolutely terrible. And then Viviano on 82, like a lot of these cards like, and Giroud as well, right away that's like, this pack, the packs are already, would be paying themselves quite well at this point in FIFA, only because of like Giroud no longer plays at Arsenal and these sort of things. Gaetan, like the loan team of the week, when I saw Switzerland I was like, oh, and then you get Zuber and I was like, great, a card I want to do a review on because he's a very appealing card. And then we done like we done the 3 games, but people just rage quit on us, which was a bit of a bummer. But consistently rares are what's happening, and for me this is what made it appealing. And then a card that I really badly wanted, and I think at this time he was going for a few coins and I was like, why is he going for so much? And I'd go and, as I said, I'd go and check up on him and I'm like, this is mad. Like, he goes for a few coins, but I didn't want to sell him because I thought I want him in the club. He's a card I want to use, I want to do bits and bobs with. Like Kwadashvili, by the way, I keep him in the club for about 20 weeks. That Kwadashvili stays on the transfer list for about 20 weeks. Only just sold him the other night, due to getting an inform a couple of weeks ago. And then the first bad 15k pack, I think this is the first one where we don't actually even get a rare, but we get quite a few useful players, which I wasn't really complaining about. And then obviously the consumables, for me the kits I wasn't sure on what sold at this point, what didn't, so I was like, it was a case of, right, just send kits to the transfer list and hope for the best. Now, loan team of the weeks, you're never going to expect much, and I never do. And then when I saw a striker, I thought, I was trying to roughly work out my team of the week, so I thought, Aspas, brilliant. The guy is suddenly, the last couple of years in Spain has just became unbelievably good, and he's got some very tasty cards. Now, I'm still getting rares, which is what you're kind of hoping for. Now this dude now, Britos, he no longer plays in the Saudi League, he now plays in Mexico, so this card, luckily the aim was not to even quick sell anything, because the hope was at the end of the 20 weeks was to kind of just show everything that I packed. But obviously at the same time you forget what you've used and what you've not used in terms of cards. Like, you'd forget what you've used and submitted in SBCs and so forth. Like Hani, for example, he no longer plays in Anderlecht, he now plays in Russia. So you're kind of saying to yourself, you're laughing. But for inform for this particular week, I thought Portugal, I thought Ronaldo's not, you obviously would think instantly, people would say, oh, it's an inform in Portugal, you'd say Ronaldo, it's like, but I know Ronaldo's not got an inform for that week. And it's Pereira, who's decent enough, but it's not game changing. It wasn't a game changing inform. Now, 2 rares, and a common card this year that I've constantly packed this FIFA is Asmir Begovic. I've lost count of how many times this particular FIFA I have packed Begovic, whether it been marquee matchup packs, the advanced SBC packs, even the basic ones, I think. Like, and even when I've done, I think, these team of the week pack, like these premium packs, like Granquist, I think at that particular time he was quite, I was almost on the verge of, at the time, I'm sure he got the hero card not long either before or after, and that was when his card was worth a few coins because of with the Russian League SBC, and I think marquee matchups had an option that he featured in at the same time, I think, and it proved his card to be worth a few coins. And then we get back to rotten informs, it's like an inform you're not really wanting. Then what you find with some weeks is some informs, you say to yourself, should they make the loan team of the week packs an inform that's maybe say above 80 or 81, but then it kind of, if you're someone that wanted somewhere between 75 and 81, then you're missing out. Now Hugo Mayo, he is another one that I've had in my transfer list forever and forever a day. At that particular point, that was the first time I'd packed him this FIFA, and like since then I'd got another one which I'd put on the transfer list. Now a board, I was like, oh, board, and I was inform. I was like, who in the F is this? I couldn't work out for the life of me. Now this particular card I put in one of the Player of the Year SBCs. I can't remember which one for the life of me. I think it was Christensen. I wasn't ever going to use him, but he was like, suddenly for me he's worth like 11k to me, and I thought, great, I've got extra coins that I didn't realise I would suddenly have. Gonalons as well, nice enough card, but it's taken us like 9-10 weeks for us to get an inform. I thought, I'm not really going to complain. It's an inform that's useful for the Player of the Year SBCs. That was the way I was looking at it. I thought it saves a bit of coins, even though I had plenty of informs in the club, out with the Loan Team of the Week. And then one card that I did, funnily enough, get a review of was this informed striker Salah, which absolutely I did not enjoy playing with. Mainly I think because he doesn't suit the striker, maybe he should stick as a right winger, but still a very nice appealing card, and I was quite chuffed to have at least packed him, gave him a review and give him a run out regardless. So after the previous week of getting an inform, I thought, as long as I keep consistently packing decent cards, and I got Schweinsteiger, and I knew in my head, I thought, great, I thought Player of the Year SBCs have been dropping with, I think at that point with, I think it was just these Allsvenskan, and I think in my head I thought MLS will be dropping soon, I'll be enjoying that card sooner than later to give up. But consistently getting rares, that was the way I was looking at it. I thought, as long as I'm consistently getting rares in a card, that was quite chuffed to get in the form of Tom Heaton. Definitely useful for the club. Could easily compete as a goalie, and as you saw, Grenier as well, he no longer plays at Lyon, he now plays at Guingamp, and was just handy to have in the club. Still have his original VIP pack version in the club. And then Portugal, I was like, ooh, I was a little bit giddy because I thought, what are we getting? And it's a card that I thought, another week running, and it's a card I wanted to review in the form of Manuel Fernandes. I slipped up that I didn't get the review out, which was a bit of a bummer. I got a couple of games out of him, but one game was a rage quit, one game I just didn't quite cut the mustard with him. But the consistent theme I was noticing week after week was I was consistently getting boards. I was like, this is mental. Howie, yes, he's not an appealing 83, but the way I looked at it, I thought, it's a board. It's a board that's going to help the club, because later down the line, these cards I'll use up for SBCs, whatever they may be, or I'll just sell them, because I'm not too fussed. I'm happy to just, there's no rush to sell. If there's no rush to sell them, it's fine. And then Jordan Pickford, nice enough card to pack. Obviously he's got his upgraded version to a 79, I think. Shows you how long since I last opened a pack on FIFA. These pretty much were the only consistent packs opened. I opened these like every Wednesday, usually just after 6. I gave it about 10 minutes. And a card that I really didn't want, I think this was second informed Dante, if I remember right, created an 82 and this was the 84. Not appealing whatsoever in the slightest. I didn't want to review it, didn't want to do anything with the card, to be honest. I thought, it's just a loan card, in form, in the club to help club value. That was the way I looked at it. Club value is one big thing I like to look at, and it's quite appealing. And I thought, one rare. And I knew in my head as well that you could still get a decent enough card to pack. You could still get a good 81 or an 82 that could be usable. And then ample players. The way as well that and coin boosts are quite common. I've noticed throughout a lot of the packs. I've not too many coin boosts, but a consistent amount to always keep ticking me over. What I always find is with these particular packs, like these the 15k packs, regardless of if it's the pre-order ones or ones you get in, say, marquee matchups or SBCs in general, is there's always a consistent flow of cards that help towards SBCs. The amount of Bundesliga players there from like the two from this week, I saw Camacho and Hector just as a couple of examples. That's handy in their own right for their respective teams. And then when you see the inform for Sirigu, second inform, you say to yourself, that is a nice card. For me, it's obviously a card that I wasn't really going to go and use. One downside I found this year about the Loan Team of the Weeks, I'm sure last year was 2 informs you got, 2 Loan Team of the Weeks. This year you only get 1, which is a bit rubbish really, because it would have been quite nice to have 2. And Gemma, he helps out for Lille later down the line. But as I said, all of these cards, I think pretty much very few of them I actually gave up in SBCs. And any spares that I do have, I always like to keep them on the transfer list because I never know when I might need them. Because there's never an urgency to sell. And Bellarabi, he's a good 82 example of someone to pack. He's definitely got a lot of uses about him and definitely someone of use. But that was a very player heavy pack. I think that was like a third of the pack was players, which is quite handy. And especially no duplicates as well. That takes a bit of doing sometimes. And then a card that I really wanted, I just gave up. I'd sold up, I think it was his Path to Glory. I'd bought a couple, and his inform was like, great, I'm going to go and review it. And then I didn't really have a team that I could fit him around. Even though I had a lot of Brazilian players, I had like Marlos, Tyson, I didn't have a striker. And even if I'd put him in cam, it still wouldn't, if I'd put him up at striker, I still didn't really have a cam or a centre mid that would kind of fit. So I kind of missed out on that review, because it would have been a nice review regardless. Well, Campos, he's never kicked on as a player, which is a bit of a shame. He has got a man of the match card kicking about on the market, and I will be buying that very shortly, because I will want to, obviously, as usual, bulk up the club, push on for that top 100 if you've been keeping up with that series. Now, board have gone a bit quiet the last few weeks I see, but in my head, I'm not too downhearted, even though I packed another Tom Heaton. I know I packed him a few weeks before, but the way I was looking at it, I thought, it's no big deal. I'd given him up not so long ago in an SBC. I think it was, I had to at the time because it was, I think the players I was using up were too low rated and Heaton was just high enough to make it work. And I think Heaton wasn't kind of working with nets either. I was like, a card that quite chuffed to pack in Otamendi. This was the second inform at the time. Thought we're pretty much starting to push towards our highest rated informs for a Loan Team of the Week to pack. So I thought, great, we're laughing. Thought surely we can just keep the form up and we'll be laughing. But consistently though, a lot of these cards, it's just more a case of how you make them useful. It's harder said than done, of course. It's always harder said than done. Like for me, I'm just a card collector. I like to collect these cards. If they've got a use, I like to use them and put them to good use. Felipe Anderson, obviously he's got the Foot birthday card for Cam, which is very appealing actually. But the having a right wing version, of course, is what you're kind of wanting to help for Lazio when you do the League SBC. But still, we're not getting the boards, but the way I knew in my head I was looking at it, I thought if I can consistently just keep getting rares that are useful for SBCs, I'm happy. That was the way I was just fundamentally looking at it. I thought I don't want terrible rares, but I'm getting about 8 players there. I thought, can't be that bad. But you've got to remember as well, you might end up with a rare silver, for example, that plays for Lille, or a team that's just, or even a non-rare silver that just slots in for an SBC. Suddenly the card's worth a few quid and you're laughing. Raphael, second form, his 86 at the time was very cheap, and if you'd invested in him you were laughing. I'd definitely got a couple and I was sorted. But what I found through FIFA, it took me about 12 to 15 weeks to work out the packs when I knew I'd got a board or anything that was I was trying to read the packs and it was hard. It was genuinely quite difficult. Sandro, the amount of times I've packed him since, it's funny how I've packed him so much as well. He was another common card. It was just handy to sell him once he'd went to Sevilla, and I was able to make a few coins out of Sandro. And then Tagliafico, obviously he now plays at Ajax and he's had an inform since. So I was like, happy days for him. I thought, I knew it was on the verge of the transfer. I think at that point, Gail Cuckoo, I've still had him in my transfer list for a good number of weeks. No urgency to sell, and I was feeling quite hopeful that something positive along the lines would come. And Quagliarella, a card that I was sniping a lot for that particular team of the week, because the team of the week SBC had dropped the previous week and a lot of people had kept packs. His card had commonly popped up and I was consistently sniping his card, and then later on selling for about 17-18k, making good profit, and it was a happy bunny. Not an Easter joke there, guys, that was unintentional. Ronaldo, his card very, very appealing for a number of reasons. For Benfica, for a number of the SBCs, for great in Bastos. I think that was 2 or 3 weeks running we've packed him. I was like, crazy, that shouldn't really be happening, but what can you say? But I bored, and I thought, what can we get? Can we get something substantial? I was like, German. And the minute you see German and goalkeeper, you don't instantly assume Neuer. You've got to say, boards, who can you get? And Ter Stegen, he goes for a pretty penny, and I'm almost sure I have still not sold him. I'm about certain I haven't sold him, because it's not I haven't seen the need to sell him, it's just more a case of he's going to be useful to do probably Barcelona's SBC. You're going to need the higher rated players like Ter Stegen, Rakitic maybe. And I was like, right, I knew right away when I saw the flag. I thought it's Koulibaly. I thought, great. I thought, is he higher than like Otamendi and Raphael? But I thought obviously he's not, because he's not done a special card. But I thought 86 rated, I thought, cannot complain whatsoever. But I knew in my head we're getting the last few weeks of these pre-order packs, and I thought, right, we just need one more card in my eyes that would justify, I felt, these packs, where it be an inform, an icon, a walkout, something like substantial, something that really was kind of game changing. That's what I was really hoping for, because I thought 20 weeks of these packs, I thought, yes, Ter Stegen's been the most expensive, yes, we've had an inform. I'm not expecting major packs, but I've had a lot of consistently okay packs, I would say, that help towards like SBCs. Like Vieto, that's like the transferred version, I'm almost sure. I thought that's rare that you, at this stage in FIFA already, I'm able to get the transferred version of a card this early into FIFA. I might be wrong, but I almost felt, I'm sure he was transferred. And then Bouanga, obviously the minute you see him, everyone would assume Gabon, it's Aubameyang. I thought, nope, he was quite early in FIFA this year for an inform. But it's always difficult just trying to get what you want. And a card that no one really ever wants, I'm afraid, is Joe Hart. He's useful for SBCs, and obviously when West Ham dropped, I was like, oh, a free pack from EA. All helps regardless. Sarabia and Sakai. Sakai, funnily enough, I have still not sold off either. No real need. The interesting thing was, at this point I'd started to save up packs, so it was difficult to try and, I had to watch what I wanted and not. But right, bored. I thought, what are we getting here? Belgium, I thought, what are we getting? My list kind of came through. I want the big goal, and you get too flat. But that is now in my head. I thought, we need to sell him. There is no way we're keeping him. We want the coins, and I'm like, right, what is he going for? And that is like, that is serious coinage right there, and that is a player heavy pack, which I was really chuffed about. And then I made a bit of a muck up where I opened up a random gold pack. I was like, oh, didn't mean to do that. I was like, I rushed my packs, and I was like, right, I thought that's an extra bonus for you guys as well. I made a bit of a slip up, but I thought, right, I've got to make sure that one's tradable and not what. And I've got to get to the last pack of our pre-order packs, and in my opinion, we ended on one of the best to wrap up the pack. One team of the week packs generally paid out quite well and been nice. Just a bit of a bummer that haven't been given up. 2 team of the week last year. run this year. But hopefully you've had fun with this. As I said, I always enjoy doing this to see what we get for every FIFA. So, smash like, be awesome, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter, G's Legend, and I will catch you all later.